But then we must come to another discussion about homophobia. And I know a lot of people on the internet are raving about, there's no such thing as homophobia. Homophobia is a ruse. Right? It was invented or something like that. Well, let me tell you something. Homophobia is actually real. Okay? It's real. But it's not what you think it is. It is a fear of homosexuality. An irrational fear of homosexuality. I don't know if there's any rational fears. Is there any rational fears? Maybe when you get raped, is that a rational fear? Okay, whatever. Irrational fear of homosexuality and homosexual people. Okay? And let me say that a lot of people do have that condition, but it's not pervasive. It's not something that is degrading them or causing other mental issues. But we do know of people, and I've seen people, who are real homophobics. I mean, they're out there, when they see a gay guy, they just like run. They're like, oh my God, I need to get out of this room. Right? Like they have this innate pathological anxiety, a panic attack, when they see a homosexual or when they're near homosexuality or any way, shape, or form. And I see those kinds of people too. There was a family friend of ours. We kind of dumped them. A family friend of ours had that problem. You know, there was this Univision. I don't know what it was. A piece on, what's his name? I forgot. Oh, Ricky Martin. That's right. Univision was doing a piece on Ricky Martin, and so they were announcing it. Like, okay, next up, we're going to talk about Ricky Martin. And we were at this guy's house, and he was like, you know, he started sweating, like, and he started, like, to change the channel, like, right away, like, go to another channel. And I guess after that, we saw Terminator 2 in the Spanish voiceover. It was kind of funny. But, I don't know. He has, to me, a pathological mental illness. And it is a pathological mental illness. It's an anxiety disorder. It doesn't let you relax. And Ryan Fisher and other bigots might say, well, it's natural revulsion. What do you mean natural revulsion? Of what? Of Rick and Martin? Just because he's gay? Just because he's a homo? He's like, oh my God. Start sweating. I saw him sweat, like started sweating. I know, it's like he was lifting weights almost, like, oh my God, gotta get out of here. And these people suffer from homophobia. It's an irrational fear. Now, is that in the NFL? Is that, well, sometimes I think it is. But it's this weird, like, passive homophobia, like when people say, oh, it's being shoved down our throats, that's a pathological anxiety reaction. It's reactionary, yeah. Like, with anything else going on in the media or in sports, these meatball heads won't say that kind of shit. You know, they're not going to complain about how they're being exposed to it. But once it's about gay people, homosexuality, anything, then they start crying foul. Like, oh my God, we're being exposed to this. It's being shoved down our throats. That is borderline homophobia. I wouldn't call it 100% homophobia, but it's borderline. I would call it homo anxiety. That's a good term, I think. Homo anxiety. Then you have the other type of negative reaction, which is bigotry. Plain bigotry. Just, you're a douchebag who hates gay people because of your religion or because of whatever stupid excuse you might have. You were raised that way. You were a drug addict. And besides, I got to know a lot of former quote-unquote drug addicts, crackheads, cokeheads, meth heads. Now they turn to Jesus on a new addiction. And now they get all anti-gay, all bigoted. So that's their new addiction. And sometimes bigotry or homophobia, that's mislabeled, but it's bigotry. People use bigotry against gays to feel better. That's what it is. It's another pathological mental disorder that also is partnered with this low self-esteem that a lot of these guys have. You know, they've been through a lot of shit in their lives. Crack, prostitutes, everything. Meth, crystal meth, the whole works. They were bad boys, and now they want to be good boys. And the only way that they can feel as though they're doing something good is, you know, they turn to religion, which boggles the mind, but okay, whatever. They go to religion, and then they bash gays, they bash homosexuality, they become bigots in order to feel better about themselves, lift their self-esteem, and erase what they did in the past. But like I always say, once a crackhead, once a meth head, always a fucking meth head. Alright, and that's the way it is. There you go. So don't make me into your rehab sponsor, because I am really bad at that shit. I have my own little addictions, and I'm not gonna go that way. Alright? So, homophobia, yeah, it exists. But it's not what you think it is. And I think a lot of people have been using that word too much to describe bigotry, anti-gayness, you know, religious bigotry, whatever, political positions. And I think that bigotry is a perfect neutral word. Because homophobia, I think you're prescribing some sort of mental disorder for some people. And for some people, they do have a homophobia mental disorder. And they have to deal with it. They have to go seek some medical advice. You know, go see a psychiatrist. Well, that's different, though, from somebody just being a bigot and saying, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and all that bullshit. So, that's that.